The Boeing CH-47 Chinook is an American twin-engine, tandem-rotor heavy-lift helicopter. Its primary roles are troop movement, artillery placement, and battlefield resupply. It has a wide loading ramp at the rear of the fuselage and 3 external cargo hooks. With a top speed of 170 knots, 196 miles per hour or 315 kilometers per hour, the helicopter is faster than contemporary utility and attack helicopters of the 1960s. The CH-47 is among the heaviest lifting Western helicopters. Its name is from the Native American Chinook people. The Chinook was designed and initially produced by Boeing Vertol in the early 1960s. It is now produced by Boeing Rotorcraft Systems. It is one of the few airplanes of that era, along with the fixed-wing Lockheed T-130 Hercules cargo aircraft, that remain in production and frontline service, with over 1,179 built to date. The helicopter has been sold to 16 nations, including the US Army and the Royal Air Force. Here's everything you need to know about the CH-47 Chinook. Long service. As well as the equally impressive fixed-wing Lockheed C-130 Hercules cargo plane, the CH-47 Chinook helicopter is one of the oldest airplanes in service in the US military. While other United States aircraft, such as the B-52 bomber, are older, the Chinook is unusual in that it remains in service and in production. As well as the equally impressive fixed-wing Lockheed C-130 Hercules cargo aircraft, the CH-47 Chinook helicopter is one of the oldest aircraft in service in the United States military. While other US aircraft, like the B-52 Stratofortress, are older, the Chinook is unique in that it remains in service and in production. The Chinook helicopter entered production in 1962 and has remained in production ever since. Over 1,200 have been produced. Specifications. The Chinook has a crew of 3, including the pilot, co-pilot, loadmaster, or flight engineer. It can carry between 33 to 55 troops, although one British Chinook airlifted some 81 troops on one occasion during the Falklands War. It has a payload capacity of 24,000 pounds and a max takeoff weight of 50,000 pounds. It cruises at 180 miles per hour, but can reach speeds of 200 miles per hour. Its service ceiling is 20,000 feet, and it has a range of 450 miles. Civilian variant. The Chinook helicopter has a civilian variant called the Boeing Vertol 234. 13 of these Vertol 234s have been produced by Boeing. 6 of them were produced for British Airways helicopters, and another 3 were built for helicopter services, as in Norway. Interestingly, even Donald Trump once owned one before it was sold to Columbia Helicopters Intel. Other Chinook helicopters found their way into civilian service when the Taiwanese Army transferred 3 of its Chinooks to the Taiwan Forest Service. The Taiwan Forest Service, in turn, leased them to AirAsia, where they are used for cargo, SAR, passenger, and firefighting services. Capabilities. The all-important task for a cargo helicopter of loading and offloading, it has several ways of doing it. It has multiple doors through which cargo can be stored in its fuselage. It has a rear loading ramp. And finally, as we have all seen in the movies, it has 3 cargo hooks with which it can carry cargo underslung under the helicopter. Modified to respond in the Fukushima disaster. 3 of Japan's Chinook CH-47 helicopters were employed to assist in cooling the reactors at Fukushima. They collected and dropped seawater on reactors 3 and 4. In order to protect the pilots from the radiation from the power plant, the helicopters were equipped with lead plates. They also had to keep their distance from the reactors to limit their radiation exposure and limit operations to 45 minutes over the site. Today, some 17 CH-47s are in service in Japan's Air Self-Defense Force, in addition to 58 in service in the Ground Self-Defense Force. During the brief Falklands War between the United Kingdom and Argentina, the Chinook was used for duties on both sides. In fact, both sides used 4 helicopters each. On the Argentine side, one of the Argentine Army services was shot down by the British with an RAF-GR-3 Harrier, and another was captured and commandeered by the British. On the British side, 3 of their Chinooks were destroyed in a single incident when the merchant ship the Atlantic Conveyor was struck by an Argentine Super Attendard, a sea-skimming missile. A further 6 Westland Wessex helicopters and a Westland Lynx helicopter were lost by the British on the Atlantic Conveyor. Variants. Some of the variants include the CH-47A, the ACH-47A through D, the MH-47D, and others. The CH-47J is a variant designed for the Japanese self-defense forces. The CH-47F is one of the variants that are still in production. In summary, the Chinook's service in supplying the US military on the front line is set to continue for many years to come.